The video for May the 16th, 2017 is entitled, Nothing Really Changes. As I sit here this morning wondering what to talk about in my next video, a song came to me. It was written and sung by Larry Norman. Nothing really changes. Everything remains the same. We are what we are till the day that we die. Those are the opening lines and actually the chorus of that song. To me, that is perhaps my greatest concern. I have lived my entire life with the expectation that I was born to help usher in the kingdom of heaven on earth. I've said that again and again throughout my life. Every time I find a hoped-for remedy to the insanity of this world, I get excited. There have been a number of those possibilities, including Rusa, Swiss Indo, the ambassador, and others. I still think it has to do with God and the eternal Christ keeping promises. If I no longer had that hope, I would have no reason for being here. Interestingly, a friend commented on my previous video. I've heard there may be big changes on the equinox. We shall see. Yes, there have been big promises, big changes promised for a long, long, long time. I mean, I've heard it again and again and again. Since I was in my teens, I have felt that the hoped-for changes, the kingdom of heaven on earth was ready to be manifested, and I would see it in my life. I mean, since my teenage years, my early teenage years, like it might have even been 12, but certainly since 13, 14, I've been anticipating the return of Christ and the kingdom of heaven on earth. I've been anticipating that. I believed that was going to happen when I was in the Army, when I was 19, 20 years old. I lived with that expectation. I carried my Bible. I read my Bible and did my prayers every day. When I say did my prayers, I mean I prayed. I don't do prayers. I guess the only prayer that somebody else wrote that I've done is the Lord's Prayer. And I've done that because it's part of a ritual in certain services of churches that I've been in. But I don't do somebody else's prayers. I pray from my heart. I talk to God, just as I would talk to you if you were sitting with me, or a friend or a relative or whatever. I talk to God, because I've always considered God to be an intimate friend. I've doubted that a lot since they stole my home, which I've said again and again. But it's interesting that as I was meditating and just praying this morning, contemplating what I would be doing my next video on, that song by Larry Norman came to mind. Nothing really changes. Everything remains the same. We are what we are till the day that we die. And he says in his words, unless JC sets you free, nothing really changes. JC, of course, is Jesus Christ. Anyway, folks, as the writer said, there's supposed to be big changes on the equinox. Here's the next big hope. The one that we've been living in was that there would be a currency revaluation, that NESARA would come into effect, or GESARA, that there would be real change. Real change to me means the criminals are no longer running the show. The demons are taken out of the picture. The restoration there can't be a restoration because there hasn't been one before that I have any consciousness of. So it can't even be a restored anything. The only thing that could possibly be restored is the real republic of the United States, RUSA. And Tim Turner and many others, including myself, worked at that. We had in every state, we had governors and secretaries of state and other offices that were being filled. We were trying to reconstitute the constitutional United States of America instead of the corporate structure that has been in place all of our lives. These are the things that have gotten me going and gotten me excited. When Swiss Indo came along and there was going to be a distribution of wealth to the people of the world that had vision, and that still exists, by the way, not necessarily Swiss Indo. Why does my nose itch? Anyway, that idea of bringing great prosperity and wealth to the visionaries of the world, instead of those that are trying to create a one world government, a one world system where there is no justice, there is no peace on earth, there's just control by a horrendous demon-possessed cult of insane people and demons. This is what I've seen. This is my interpretation of what I look at. And they say what you focus on, you get more of. That's more of the new age, new thought bullshit, I call it, because that's what it is. What you don't focus on gets worse. Things have gotten worse. When we've started to focus, things seems to have gotten worse because they know we're waking up. That's the only reason it's getting worse, is because the people that have been trying to run the fake game know that there's a lot of us now that are waking up, thanks to David Icke and many others who have been visionaries and been sort of at the head of the pack. And there's been many others that I'm not even going to try to name them all. I can think of a few others, but in any case, when are the promised changes going to happen? When is there going to be real significant change? That's not going to happen as long as we have leaders who think that they are rulers. A leader is not a ruler. That's the problem, you see. The ego wants to rule. The self wants to serve. And I want to become myself, my highest self, so that I can serve humanity and bring blessings to people, transform lives, give homes to the homeless, give food to the hungry, give whatever is needed to make people's lives enriched and more fulfilled, and help put people on the road to discovering who we are and discovering the treasure that lies within each one of us. And I'm not talking about gold and silver or even fiat currency. I'm talking about the gifts, talents, and abilities that are ours, that have been thwarted by the system, we've been dumbed down and made less than what we really are, so that we never reach our potential. In fact, most of us never even see our potential. I have seen my potential, and it's to be someone who helps others achieve the dream that is the dream of creation itself, as Anastasia said, that we all might be one with God and know God and love one another. I know that sounds simplistic, but it is simple. It's not complicated. Only the Kabbalah makes it complicated. Anyway, I see my 10 minutes are just about up, so I'm going to say thank you for listening and namaste.